Well, hold on. Sorry to worry you. I'm not leaving yet. Alright, let's get into this. Before I get into the meat of this video, I want to say Emma Blackery did do a live stream about a month ago, I think, at the time of recording this. And she talked about quitting, and that did provoke me into wanting to talk about this subject too. So I'll link her video in the description down below if you want to check it out. So, quitting. I don't really know how to start a video like this. I tried to record this before several times, actually, and the last time I actually edited it, and I found out everything I was saying was a convoluted gibberish mess. So, I'm gonna try to do this without rambling too much or contradicting myself or making this too confusing, but this is me we're talking about, so it's not possible. So, quitting. Yeah. Several years ago, I would think about quitting. It wasn't anything ever serious. It was more so like, oh, you're so bad at what you do, you should just quit and give up on everything. It was something that I just did to beat myself down. I never took it serious, like, yeah, okay, me, quit, yeah, whatever. That's never gonna happen. And then about 2 years, those thoughts got more serious. Like, maybe this is something you should think about considering. And then last year, I'm like, I should really start considering this. In the past month, I realized quitting is inevitable. There's several reasons behind this that I hope to get well into. One thing is, I realized my childish 14-year-old dream is insane. It's never going to happen. I should have stopped wasting time thinking it was going to. I used to have this crazy dream that I could be a professional YouTuber, that I could make it big and not have to go out and get a job at retail or something to support myself, that I would be able to pay the bills with this. Here's the issue with that. I'm in a small community. Webkinz is a small community with a very niche audience. You don't get enough traffic in order to generate that kind of revenue. My crazy idea of being in my 30s and owning a home and just being able to do this, what I've been doing for a living, is insane, and it was never going to happen. And it's even worse now with the algorithm and adpocalypse. And look, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I was never in YouTube for the money. It's just been a nice little bonus for my time. It's never been enough to pay the bills or even be anything significant. It never will be that, and I should have seen it. And I've always kind of thought, like, maybe it's not possible, maybe it's not, but there's always something like in my head that didn't believe it, that maybe it could happen, maybe. And now I've finally come to terms that it will never happen. I needed to stop living in my teenage imagination of what my future was going to be like, and it took me until recently to finally just snap out of it. To be honest, I never thought I'd even make it this far when I joined YouTube when I was 10 years old. I had this idea that I would do it for a month or two and then never touch it again, because that is what I did with everything. I fell into it for a short time, I was really into it, and then I'd just stop. I'd lose all interest. That's why I never drew very much when I was little, because I'd get in this zone that I'd draw for like a month straight, and then I wouldn't want to touch my sketch pad for another year. And I don't know why, but KinzTube was different. I don't know what was so compelling about it. I don't know what changed, but I just stuck with it. And I joined way too young. I don't know if I can say I regret joining, but I know I joined too young. And I want to give this little message to anyone. If you're like 12, please make sure your life is not on the internet. Let me tell you a story. When I was little, I was online schooled. I have now since graduated, but back then, as a measly little homeschooler, because that was before I was even online schooled, back then I didn't have any friends. We were part of the homeschool network, which, if you guys don't know what that is, basically it's this network that connects you with people, other homeschoolers in your area, and you meet up generally about once a week and either go on a field trip like to the zoo or the aquarium or something, or you meet at a library and do school stuff with partners, and it's just time to socialize. My mom tried to get us involved in that stuff, but my brother and I frankly just weren't having any of it. We've both kind of grown up to hate people and just enjoy our own company. It got to the point my mom couldn't wrestle us to go anymore. When we said no, she just couldn't fight us both. I attended private school for a bit, and my mom was so upset that she couldn't afford to keep us in there. I am so happy I got out of there. Maybe I'll tell stories of that place one day. I don't know. I basically grew up a lonely child because my brother and I have never gotten along. I didn't really have a friend group. I didn't really have anyone except myself, and that might be one reason I work better alone. But then came around YouTube, and this awesome new thing. So many people were doing it, a big community. I didn't have anything outside of YouTube. I didn't have friends. I didn't have family. I didn't have anything except this darn camera and a stupid account on this website. It was something to do. Something I needed to do in my boring life. But because I never had anything more to do, I didn't walk away when I should have. I didn't have something to fall back on, something to say, this is enough, I need to do something else, because I had nothing else. This is why your life should not be on the internet. And I'm not talking about sharing personal information, I'm talking about your only form of life being the internet. You need to have a place outside of it. The internet is not your life, and you need to grow up with it not being your life. And part of the reason for that, if I quit, what do? Thanks to doing this, I haven't acquired any skills. I still don't have friends in the real world because all my friends on the internet are hundreds of thousands of miles away. I don't know anyone. I don't have any experience in anything. And it's my own fault. I haven't acquired any other skills. I haven't honed anything else. All I know is writing, cameras, and editors. That's all I can do. I don't know anything. So if I quit, what is there left? Frankly, I've fallen into a rut almost, and it's my own fault because I haven't done anything to steer clear of it. And I don't know what to do without YouTube, and that's one thing that's keeping me here right now. And look, when I say I should have walked away years ago, I mean it. I should have quit years ago. I don't want to bring drama into this, but I've had my fair share, and frankly, it's been a lot. And I should have walked away from this site when it started getting bad. But I didn't. Look, there's a video I like a lot, and I'm going to link this in the description down below too. It's from this old Kins tuber called Taykins22. In her last video, she said something that has stuck with me for years. She said, if you ever get set up like this, just leave. And I've said something a little similar for a while. I've said, sometimes you win the battle by walking away. Oh sure, you can fight, stand up for your pride. But in the end, you may have won the war, but you lost so much you might as well have considered it a defeat. It's not worth it. And I should have walked away when things got like that years ago. Which leads me into the next part of this. This is the part of the video that's going to start controversy, and I know, I'm prepared for it. I'm having a hard time staying in a community that doesn't like me. Now look, not everyone has to like me. I understand that. I'm not arrogant. I know there's going to be people that don't like me. I know there's going to be people that don't like you. It's how life goes. But it's not just a few people. It's been most of the community. I'm not gonna lie. I was a terrible person years ago. I'd like to think that now I have matured and bettered myself. I'm more reserved. I'm not as angry as I used to be. I've learned how to put a professional coat in the way of speaking over everything I've said to try and make me sound neutral and not comment on things I shouldn't. And that is something I wish I did years ago because I was very spiteful. I got in fights that I should have stayed out of. I was not a good person. And people still hold me accountable for my actions years ago, ones that I've owned up to and apologized for, and have tried to put in the past. I'm not going to say people are in the wrong for doing so. I understand I've hurt a lot of people and I've made a lot of enemies. But the thing that's happened in the past year or two, despite this drama being at least 3 years old, is it started spreading around like it just happened. And suddenly, all these views and opinions people think I still stand by that happened years ago. And it's gotten me a very bad reputation. It has frankly turned the community against me. I'm just having a hard time trying to please my peers when my peers hate me. I know not everyone hates me. I know there's gonna be people saying, "Sassy, we love you." Thank you. I'm not an idiot. I know people don't like me, and they're right to not like me. I wasn't a good person. I've made mistakes, a lot of really bad ones, that I wish I could take back. I have learned from my mistakes, and I've tried to better myself from them, and I have even tried to make it clear that my opinions have changed, although people seem to take a blind eye to that. But look, this is the biggest reason for me wanting to leave, because I have been set up, and I should have left when I was, but I didn't, because I'm stubborn. And people say, don't let them show that they hurt you, don't let them show that words hurt. Like, no, duh, words hurt. I think it's gotten to the point, you could hear it in my voice, I just don't care anymore. When making videos, I don't think, oh, this is so funny, I can't wait to see people's reaction to that. I think, what are people's reactions going to be to this? What is one thing they're going to take out of context? What's one thing they're going to say, you're talking about this person? What's something they're going to say, look how terrible you are. This represents how terrible you still are, that you haven't changed at all. I'm so sick of seeing all of my work through those eyes. I am genuinely proud of what I upload. I don't upload a video unless I like it. Because here's the thing, why should I expect anyone else to like it if I don't? I'm the creator, and if I don't even like my own work, then why should anyone else care about it? I've lost motivation, and it's partly due to this. I know it's gonna just come off as whiny and attention-seeking, but no, it's the truth. I know these old things I've done aren't the only reason a lot of the community hates me. I know one thing that really started getting people to not like me was, one, when I disabled comments, and two, when I was bold enough to do something that a lot of other people weren't, and that was talk about the community. I still stand by my opinions. This is one of the worst communities I've ever seen. People give the Sonic community a lot of flack. It's not like this. It's so much better than this. I didn't realize how toxic it was until I started getting involved in other fandoms. And I realized, this isn't a community here. When I said earlier that I'm not as angry as I used to be, when I made a lot of those rants, my anger was to the extreme. Every pet peeve was a loathing hatred. A lot of those stand as pet peeves still. But I don't hate them with that big of a passion anymore. I've mellowed out. I've frankly just gotten to the point that I'm like, that's extreme to say all that. I'd like to think that my behavior at that point didn't hurt anyone, but I'm not ignorant. I know it did. I have no excuses for it. I never have. I have a reason, but it's not an excuse. My reasoning is that I frankly wasn't surrounded by anything good. I had friendships that I didn't realize weren't friendships. To put it lightly, I was always the person to say, if someone makes fun of you, they're not your friend. But what I didn't realize is that this group of friends, that their jokes and good fun went too far, and they knew that. I took it as just playful banter, that this is normal, this is what to expect, despite the fact that it hurt me. And I was surrounded by that for over a year, and I didn't really have anyone else good in my life. And before anyone goes and says, oh, look at this jab you're making at this person, I'm not talking about who you probably think I am. This was mainly on Minecraft, actually, a Minecraft server. But there's a group of friends on there, and they're not friends. They made fun of me for liking webkins. Every choice I made was bad. I had sexist comments made to me. They do things in the game purposefully to hurt me. And they did it just because they knew it would hurt me. And I just took that as a joke, as playful banter. I didn't take it as, this is not how it's supposed to be. I think at one point I did say, I don't like how you do this, and it just made them do it more because that was their goal. They were trying to annoy me. And I should have gotten out of those friendships earlier. Instead, that led to the worst year of my life. 14 was the hardest year of my life because I had no one good in my life. So let that be a lesson to you guys. If someone makes fun of you, even if you think it's just in jest, if it hurts you and you tell them about it and they don't do something to change their behavior, get out of there. That is not a good friendship. Leave. This does loop around to what I was talking about with the community. I have never seen a community more willing to rip someone to pieces for a laugh, for drama. I don't know why. It seems the Webkinz community thrives off of it. And it's not just on KinsTube, it's on Instagram. It's even in the frickin' Webkinz park. And the reason I told you about me being angry is because I feel a lot of people go through that phase. I had my reasons, a lot of people have theirs. But I've seen so many people that have gone through that exact phase. I'm watching several KinsTubers who are going through that exact phase I went through. But I think a lot of this is part of learning, and Webkinz as a kids community, I think a lot of the community is going through this phase, and that's why we're seeing this. And with the internet apocalypse, basically, where everyone is so involved on the internet, their lives are out there, it's so easy for one person to start criticizing and everyone else to get the mob mentality and join in. Guys, you have to take a stand. If you see a drama or call-out post, don't get involved. Don't make the same mistakes I have made. But at the same time, mistakes are how you learn. There is no such thing as learning the easy way. People will tell you something. I never took that, just ignore them and they'll go away. I never took that saying seriously. Everyone told me that and I was like, ugh, it doesn't work. Ignoring a problem doesn't solve it. Until it happened to me and ignoring the problem solved it. And everyone has to learn that way. There is no easy way to learn life lessons. People don't tell you stuff and you automatically listen to it. You have to learn it for yourself. I can only hope the KinsTube community betters themselves and becomes more than one giant hatred call-out post, because that is virtually all I've seen and gotten out of this community. Which, continuing on to Webkinz, here comes another issue. I still like Webkinz. I still love them. I don't play with them. My Webkinz, for the most part, sit in my closet, on my shelves, without being played. I haven't picked up and played with a Webkinz in years. I don't find enjoyment in it anymore. That childhood wonder thing is gone. To be fair, I've just grown up. I've grown out of it. I still like Webkinz. I'm not getting out of them anytime soon. I don't see myself ever fully getting out of Webkinz. I will never sell my collection. Y'all guys are gonna have to bury me with my Webkinz, okay? But I'm not into them as much as I used to be. I frankly am just not caring too much. Gand has made so many poor decisions for their online that it doesn't entice me to buy new Webkinz with the codes, and I don't play with the plushies. I don't have a lot of enjoyment in that, and frankly I'm finding a lot more enjoyment in other things like video games. It's just lost something to me. The only times I really pick up a Webkinz is when I just really want something to snuggle, or I'm filming a video. Otherwise, they stay on the shelves. And I guess that leads to a thing. If I don't like Webkinz that much anymore, and I'm not able to break free in this community, then go outside the community. Do your writing stuff. With who? All these characters I've built upon. Here's the thing. I love voice acting, and basically with how I've grown up, I work better alone. How am I supposed to work with anyone? I don't have friends. Costumes are expensive. Do you know how hard it is to get an actual real life set as opposed to setting one up with pillowcases and little knickknacks around your room and stuff you found at flea markets? There's a lot more that goes into it. And yeah, sure, I might be able to break away with it. I might be able to make something of myself with that. But in the end, it doesn't have what I want. What I've always wanted, what I always thought I wanted, was a way to write, voice act, while using Webkinz. That was my dream. All of these things I've said, I've come to terms that I can't stay here. Not forever. I've tried to branch off and do other things, but I'm frankly just in a rut. So, in summary, I'm not into Webkinz as much as I used to be. I'm having a hard time staying in a community that doesn't like me. I've been lacking motivation, and frankly, I've just come to terms that I can't stay here forever. So when will I leave? When's my date? I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know when I'm going to be leaving. Could be next year. Could be another 5 years. I've learned a lot in my time here, and I don't know if I can say I regret joining, but I do regret not walking away when I should have. Anyways, I suppose that reaches the end of this video. I hope if you're still watching this that you support me through the next few years to come, and if you don't, thanks for sticking around this long. I don't know when I'll fully be leaving, but I can't stay here forever. It's time for me to grow up and move on with my life. And my life does not have KinsTube in the future. So anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.